Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker are divorcing after 11 years of marriage, stepping into a new chapter. Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker announced they are getting a divorce after marrying in 2014 and welcoming 2 children together. Real Housewives of Atlanta stars Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker are calling it quits after 11 years of marriage. Burruss shared the unfortunate development on Friday, November 21st, in an exclusive statement with People magazine. After deep thought and a lot of prayer, I've made the decision to move forward with a divorce. This is a difficult and emotional time, but my focus remains on protecting my peace, being the best mother I can be, and co-parenting with love and respect, she told the publication. I'm stepping into a new chapter pouring into my work, my family, and my own growth, she continued. I'm grateful to everyone who supported us throughout the years, and I ask for privacy, grace, and understanding as we navigate this transition with our family. The world was first introduced to Tucker, 52, back in season 4 of RHOA, after he and Burruss, 49, met while he was working behind the scenes on the show during the franchise's trip to Africa. They got engaged in 2013 and tied the knot the following April, marking the start of a blended family that viewers would watch grow in real time. Both brought daughters from previous relationships, Burruss' now 23-year-old Riley and Tucker's 29-year-old Kayla, and later welcomed 2 children together, son Ace in 2016 and daughter Blaze in 2019. Over the years, their evolving family life, business ventures, and ever-expanding restaurant empire became a central storyline on RHOA, as did their ambitious leap into producing Broadway shows and other entertainment projects as a team. Their creative partnership became as defining as their marriage, with audiences watching them build, argue, dream, and hustle side by side. As recently as last week, Burruss publicly acknowledged Tucker's presence in her life and career. On Friday, November 14th, she was honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Bravos during BravoCon 2025 in Las Vegas, and thanked him on stage. To Todd, thank you for surviving the blogs, the shade, the rumors, the lies, the truth, the almost fights, the actual fights, the reunions. You earned this award too, she said. For 11 years, Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker built an empire. One made of love, late-night business meetings, family adventures, and the kind of hustle that turned dreams into real, tangible milestones. Their relationship had survived reality TV storms, blended family growing pains, and the relentless spotlight that chased them everywhere from Atlanta boardrooms to Bravo reunions. But on a quiet Sunday morning in early fall, Kandi sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the draft of a statement on her phone. The words felt heavy, even though she had rewritten them a dozen times. After deep reflection, love, and respect, Todd and I have decided to divorce. We are stepping into a new chapter. A new chapter. 2 little words that could mean freedom, heartbreak, healing, or all 3 at once. The calm before the announcement. Kandi had never been afraid of speaking her truth. As a songwriter, she poured her emotions into music. As a businesswoman, she made decisions with clarity. But this was different. There was no melody to soften it, no conference room to shield her from the personal impact. Behind the closed door of their Atlanta home, she could still hear the sounds of morning life. Blaze dragging her favorite pink blanket across the hall, Ace practicing his multiplication tables with a cartoon level of enthusiasm, and Todd talking on the phone about the new scripted project he was producing. They weren't at war. There were no screaming matches, no slammed doors. That almost made it harder. Sometimes marriages didn't end in explosions. Sometimes they just dissolved, like a slow, quiet tide pulling back into the ocean. Are we still us? It had started about 2 years ago. Their schedules grew chaotic, Kandi juggling RHOA, Broadway productions, her restaurants. Todd pushing forward with television ventures, creative studios, film equipment rentals. The more their dreams expanded, the less their lives overlapped. They used to stay up until 2 a.m. talking about ideas, restaurant themes, movie scripts, marketing strategies. Now they communicated through calendar invites. One night, after returning from a month-long shoot, Kandi walked into their living room and found Todd asleep on the couch, laptop open on his chest. She had stood there quietly, studying him, trying to remember the last time they had laughed together without their phones buzzing. When he woke up, she asked softly, "Are we still us?" Todd stared at her for a long time before replying, "I don't know. But I want to be." They tried. Couples counseling. Date nights. Weekend trips with no business calls allowed. They shared wins. They shared frustrations. They held hands, trying to stay connected even as life kept tugging them in opposite directions. But sometimes effort alone wasn't enough to repair a foundation that had slowly cracked under the pressure of ambitions and obligations. The day everything shifted. 6 months before they announced the divorce, Kandi and Todd had a conversation that neither of them wanted to initiate. They sat across from each other at their dining table. The same table where they'd celebrated birthdays, signed contracts, decorated cupcakes with the kids, and held late-night confession sessions. No yelling. No accusations.
Kandi,
Just
Todd
honesty.
began,
Voice quiet. I love you. I'll always love you. But we're living 2 different lives under one roof. She nodded, blinking away tears. I feel it too. I don't want to resent you. And I don't want you to resent me. We deserve to be happy, even if it's separate. It wasn't a decision made in anger. It was made in love. Perhaps the purest kind. Love enough to let go. Preparing the family. The kids were their biggest concern. Kandi couldn't sleep for days, thinking about how to explain it to them. When the moment came, Todd sat beside her on the living room couch while Ace and Blaze curled up next to them. The older girls, Riley and Kayla, joined via video chat. We're always going to be your parents, Kandi said gently. But Mommy and Daddy won't be married anymore. We'll still be a family, just a different kind. Ace's big brown eyes filled with confusion. Different how? Todd pulled him close. Different house setups. Different routines. But the same love. That doesn't change. Blaze just hugged Kandi's arm, not fully understanding, but sensing the emotion in the room. Riley was supportive. Kayla was quiet but respectful. Everyone processed it in their own way. The public eye. Once the statement went live, the world reacted instantly. Fans expressed shock, sadness, and compassion. Critics speculated. Blogs exploded with theories. Producers texted to check on her. Castmates called for support, or in some cases to gather tea. But Kandi ignored the noise. She had spent too much of her life in front of cameras to lose herself to them now. Instead, she went for a long walk at Chastain Park. No glam, no entourage. Just fresh air and a moment of peace. She breathed in slowly, exhaled even slower, grounding herself in the reality that although this chapter was closing, her life wasn't falling apart. Some things end so better things can begin. Todd's turning point. Todd handled the announcement differently. He poured himself into his work, but for the first time in years he also paused. Really paused. He walked through their home, touching photos, remembering inside jokes, and reflecting on the man he had become over the decade. Kandi had pushed him, challenged him, inspired him. Their marriage wasn't a failure. It was a journey that had run its course. That night, he posted his own message on social media. 11 years of love, growth, partnership, and lessons. We part with respect and gratitude. New chapter loading. The new chapter. They weren't enemies. They weren't strangers. They were 2 people brave enough to admit when the story needed a new direction. In the months ahead, they would co-parent, collaborate occasionally, and cheer each other on from separate spaces. Kandi would dive deeper into her music roots and expand her restaurant empire. Todd would bring new shows to life and finally have time for passion projects he had shelved for years. And who knew? Life had a way of surprising people when they least expected it. Closing the door, opening another. On the evening the divorce papers were finalized, Kandi stood inside her walk-in closet. The one Todd had helped her design, running her fingers along a row of shimmering gowns. She wasn't sad. She wasn't ecstatic either. She was simply ready. Ready to rediscover herself. Ready to let joy in again. Ready for her new chapter. She whispered softly to the empty room. Thank you for what you were. Then she walked out, closing the door behind her. Not in grief, but in grace. Because sometimes the bravest thing 2 people can do is decide to grow in different directions.